We're going to take a look inside the Ish Monroe box. If you like fishing shallow, stained water, Ish Monroe is a master of that, and he's also a master at catching big fish, and he knows the exact lures to throw. So this box is all about getting in there, dirty, shallow water, and getting after those big bass just like Ish. So I'm going to take you through these lures and show you the right areas and the right techniques to be the most productive. This is the Biggie square bill crank, and it is a larger than average size square bill. It's a little bit beefier. It's a little bit more extended body, just a little bit bigger profile, super sharp hooks on this thing. But this is a bait that you're gonna want to dig around shallow wood, rocks, docks, any type of shallow cover, and deflect it off that cover and get that reaction strike out of that fish. And I'm fishing this on 20-pound fluorocarbon line because I'm fishing around heavy cover, and I'm fishing it on a 7-foot medium action glass composite rod. So this rod really loads up well. It handles crankbaits extremely well, and I fish it on a high-speed gear ratio reel. When I'm deep cranking, I go with a lower speed, but when I'm shallow cranking, I like a little bit higher speed. Really get in there, dig it around that cover, get those reaction strikes, and catch up to that fish when it bumps it. Right out in front of me here, I've got some old riprap, and there's some trees mixed in. It's around 4 to 6 feet of maximum depth here, and these fish are going to be sitting around those rocks and around those stumps. So this is the perfect bait to deflect off that bottom, and when it hits that hard rock or that tree, it'll make a little sound as well, and it really gets those reaction strikes out of those fish. The key is, once you hit a piece of cover, when you feel that, you just want to give that bait a pause, and that gives those fish a little bit of time to go ahead and react to that lure. Another technique that Ish is really known for is flipping. And he has got a killer flipping hook. This is the Nu Jack Flippin hook right here. And what you want to do with this is get you a little bobber stopper, peg you a weight on here, just however thick a cover you're fishing. Kind of got some sparse scattered cover here, so I'm doing a 3/8 ounce, and I'm putting that Nu Jack hook on here with my favorite creature bait for flipping around this stuff. And what you want to do with that bait is you want to snell it. And what snelling does, when you tie that snell knot, it allows that hook to penetrate better up into the fish's mouth. So that's what this hook is designed to do. You can punch grass with it, and it's just a great way to get better hookups when you're flipping. And of course, throwing it on a heavy action rod, a 7.2 to a 7.6 heavy action rod with a stout line. This is 50-pound braided line right here. You can go all the way up to 65, just depending on what kind of really thick cover you're fishing. But the main thing is you want to pitch that bait in there, and that hook is really going to allow you to get better penetration. It's so hard to get fish out when you're flipping because you have so many obstructions, and having the right hook on there really helps. I just flipped into a spot right there and came out with a scale. Fish robbed me somehow. Let's see if I can get him again. Just threading that hook on there. And the nice thing about this hook, you got a cool little plastic keeper on the back there, and that keeps your plastic in place, because you can really mess some plastics up setting the hook on these fish and moving that bait around that really heavy cover. Yeah, there's a better one. That's what you expect to catch when you flip. Get on in here, fatty. And that hook just has him. There's no way that fish is getting off right there. There's no possible way. It's got him just pinned completely. And all that hook does when you pull into those fish, especially when you're using braid, it just goes right up in there. Nice healthy fish. Look at that fat fish right there. Gotta love that. Another bait in the Ish box that's really good for covering water is gonna be the Bling spinner bait. This is a 1/2 ounce right here. It's got some cool Indiana style blades on it. Of course, this is designed for a little bit dirtier water, but you can fish this around really thick brush and all sorts of grasses, pitch it up under docks. I mean, all sorts of ways you can fish a spinner bait, but spinner baits catch big fish all times of the year. It's got a serious hook on here that extends out with a nice hook keeper on it, a little hand-tied skirt so it doesn't come off when you're fishing it fast, and it's got some really nice quality blades on there. So I'm gonna fish this on a 7-foot medium heavy action rod, and I'm gonna fish it on 15 to 20 pound fluorocarbon line, and just my favorite high-speed gear ratio reel. And I'm gonna fish it around this cover, and I'm gonna do little start and stops in there, and I'm try to bump it. I'll jerk the rod every once in a while, just try to get that reaction strike when I'm getting close to that cover. One of my favorite ways to target bass on a spinnerbait like this is to target little isolated pieces of cover when you're fishing around grass lines or tree lines or anything like that, and then there's a little outlier, like I have this bush that's out in front of me here. There's a lot of other bushes in the water, but this one just kind of sticks out more than the rest, and a lot of times bass will hold on that. It's just in their nature to hold on those little isolated pieces of cover. Another way you can target those thick pieces of brush, grass, lily pads, all sorts of grasses is with the bullywah. And this is the bullywah frog right here. It's got a nice little keel on it, so you can actually walk this bait a little bit. I trimmed the skirt tails up just a little bit to help it walk a little bit more, but you gotta fish this on heavy gear. So I got it on 50-pound braid, a 7'2" heavy action rod, and then a reel that I really just trust to wrench on. And all you gotta do is throw it into the thick cover, and it comes just right through it. But you wanna just use little jerks of the rod tip to get that frog to walk side to side. And you don't have to fish a frog in super heavy cover always. You can also fish it in open water just like you would a top water. But that little keel on this bullywah frog really helps it walk side to side and give it a nice little spook style walking action. Oh man, that fish inhaled that frog. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look how bad he wanted it. I saw that bass eating some shad on the bank, and I said, there's no way he's not gonna eat that frog. Perfect opportunity, super thick cover. You gotta throw that frog in there. Awesome. All right, I think we did Ish proud with that one. All these baits are designed for fishing in that thick, nasty cover, shallow water, just like Ish does in catching those big bass. So I'm gonna try to get a few more frogfish this evening, but I hope you guys learned a little something about fishing the Ish box. We'll catch you next time.